Good morning, everyone. Welcome to LisaBug Mind Body Blend. And today, what I have for you, since we're focusing on finding length and flexibility in the month of March, is we are going to really focus on opening up the abductors and adductors of the hip. So the hip abductors move the legs away. It's like abducting, opening up the legs away from the midline. So we'll stretch those. Those are involved with a muscle called the TFL, the tensor fascia lata, and the also moving into the IT band area. And then the adductors bring the legs towards the midline. So that's our inner thighs. So we're going to be focusing mostly on stretching those areas. What I have for equipment today, light hand weights to work the upper body with some bar and Pilates, a lot of core today. So really strengthening through the midsection. And then this will be the last day that we'll be using our foam roller, if you have one of those at home, and a tennis ball. Also, I'm going to show you an option of using a, what is it called? A rolling pin. So if any of you can run to the kitchen, and if you have a rolling pin, we're not going to make pie crust, but I'm going to show you how you can use a rolling pin to roll out some tight muscles. Okay, also a yoga strap and block. So I'm going to bring my music up just a little bit. Let's warm up just to get the blood flowing, wake up the body a little bit. Taking your feet into wide Wu Chi. So wide Wu Chi, also known as wide second position in ballet or Pilates. Soften your knees, come down into a little plie squat. And we'll pulse down, down, down. So whenever we're in our wide squat or wide Wu Chi, I want you to notice where your knees are and where they're tracking. So sometimes if our toes are too turned out, our knees will start to go in towards each other. So fire the medial glutes, those muscles in the buttocks, to pull the knees out. If you still can't track over the feet, bring your toes in a little bit so they're not so turned out. Sink down into your tailbone and think about your posture. Open up through the shoulders, through the fronts of the chest. Pull your shoulder blades back. Good, just pulsing. 4, 3, 2, hold it down. Take your right arm up, stretch, stretch. Now, as always with LisaBug classes, if anything doesn't feel right for your body, know that it's okay to leave it out, to modify the exercises, to go slower, whatever you need to do in your body today. Now notice as I'm stretching, my pelvis isn't moving. So that's one of the number one priorities in Pilates, is keeping the pelvis nice and still as we do our core work. Good, just 2 more here. Hold the last one over, stretch. And then lower that arm down as you come hands to your thighs. Round your body up. And sink back into your plie squat. Left arm, stretch. Stretch. So when we do lateral flexion of the spine, make sure you're not twisting. So keeping your shoulders really level. Imagine there's a wall behind your shoulder blades and you're just scooting along the wall, making sure that left shoulder blade is not coming forward. Now you should be feeling some work into your thighs here as we hold this position. If your legs get tired, just straighten them all the way up and keep going with the stretch. 7 more. See if you can zip up the transverse abdominis, that lower region of your abdominals. 3, 2. Now hold the last one. Stretch. As we warm up, you're checking in to see how your body's feeling today. Shoulders, knees, hips, lower back. And let's round the arms down and roll your body up. And take a nice big deep breath. Inhale. Bring the hands back down to your knees and exhale, roll up. Inhale. And hands to the thighs and roll up. Just 2 more. Shoulders are warming up, the spine is warming up. Just loosening up any kinks between the vertebrae. And rolling up. Okay, bring the feet closer together. Position 1. We're going to alternate stepping out to the right, stepping out to the left with a plie squat. Out, together. Out, together. I also have a small chair with me today, so if there's any movements that you need to use that for balance or to sit in some of the stretches. Good. Out, together. So what I'm doing here is, as I'm stepping out and in, I'm working on abduction and adduction of the thighs. We can use those arms out as well. Good. You're going through whatever range of motion feels okay for you today. So we're going to add another step. Step out to the right, hold, side bend, step back in. Step out, side bend, step in. Good. Still warming up. Opening up through the waist. Connecting the breath with the movement. Inhale and exhale. Excellent. Just 1 more each side. Last time. And come center. So we'll stand on our right foot into that first position, and then step your left heel to your right big toe. This is 5th position. Now notice how that brings your inner thighs closer together. So really squeeze them nice and tight, and we'll lift this left leg up, squeeze back to 5th position. So I'm trying to keep both toes turned out evenly, bringing the heel of the left foot to the big toe of the right. If you need your chair or a wall, hold your hand here. When you lift this leg, it's laterally rotated. Now articulating the ankle, point the toes and flex. Point, flex. Good. Arms can be anywhere you want them to be. Hands at hips is nice. You can hold them out if you need a little bit more for balance. 6, squeeze. 5, point and flex. 4, your standing leg really active. 2, and 1. Now bring that heel back to first position, so both toes are turned out, and we'll lift side, close, side, close. So your leg is in lateral rotation, so when you open, your knee is slightly rotated to the ceiling. We're abducting and adducting that hip. Good. Doesn't have to be a high leg raise. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to swing this leg from side to side in front of the body. So you might need your chair just for a little bit of control here. So take that leg, we go out, cross, out, together. Out, cross, out, together. Point, flex, point, together. So we're using the abductors, adductors. So once we get into this area today to stretch, it's going to be really nicely warmed up. Good. 4 more. Out, cross, together. And 3, cross. Nice job. 2 more. Last one. Out, cross, out, and together. Just notice that warming sensation in that hip. Now, staying from in position 1, slide your right heel up to your left big toe. This is position 5. Squeeze your inner thighs really tight. We're going to take this leg out to the side and back to close. So you should feel your thighs squeeze together using your adductors. Out, close. I'm going to bring my chair on this side just to give me a little bit of help here with my balance. Now ankle goes point, flex, point, flex. Nice job. Woo, I just realized I missed the lift and lower on this side. So let's go into raising the leg forward. Point, close to 5th. Point and 5th. Now really concentrate also on this standing leg. It's really nice and strong and stable. Working those hips. Working the ankles through plantar flexion and dorsiflexion. 6 to go. Now really stand tall. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Close back to first position. We're going to swing the leg out and across the midsection. Out, cross, out, together. Out, cross. Now I say swing, but I want you to think of it more as a lift and then use the muscle to come across rather than momentum of the exercise. Good. Now your pelvis is probably going to move a little bit, but I want to make sure that when you're bringing that heel across, you're not really vigorously rotating through your pelvis. Everything's really nice and secure here. Let's do 5 more reps. Point, flex, point, close. 4. Good. Shoulders back. 3. So working abductors and adductors really helps with stabilizing our gait, strengthening our glutes. Those are powerful muscles. Last one. And close together. Grab your hand weights. So still working abductor, adductors, but now adding some upper body work. If you prefer not to do the weights, you can do these exercises without as well. Bending your elbows, step out with the left leg into wide plie squat. Lift your arms up about shoulder level and pull back in. So just start with that basic exercise, nice and slow. Out, down, up, close. So I'm going to give you the option of closing either into first or into 5th. Now, if 5th is difficult to get your heel all the way across to the big toe, 3rd position is about halfway, so it's about at the mid-arch. Good. Step out, squat, close in. Working deltoids, quads, glutes, abductors, adductors. One more. Step out wide into that plie squat. Drop down, pulse the arms up, up, up. So in a bar class, you're going to see very light hand weights. Sometimes they're only 1 pounders. Oftentimes the movements are really tiny, and we do several repetitions to create endurance in that muscle. Good posture. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Close in. Step back to first position. Roll your shoulders. Good. Give them a little bit of a break as we move into the other side, either starting from first position or up to third or fifth as we begin. Little bend in those elbows. We step out, plie squat, and close. Out, down, up, close. So make sure your arms aren't raising up too high. We want them just a little bit under the height of the top of your shoulders. You can also bend your elbows quite a bit here to shorten the lever and lessen the intensity of the exercise. Out, down. Drag that leg across. Good job. Just 2 more. Strengthening those deltoids. Try not to let your shoulders hunch up. Now step out wide, drop down, pulse the arms up, up, up. So you're sinking as low as you'd like into those legs. You can drop it down a little more or come up a little higher. Tiny, tiny movement in the muscle. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Close down. Step back in, roll the shoulders. Beautiful. Couple more shoulder rolls. And then come to parallel with your feet. So they're turned straight forward. Sink into chair pose. The arms come forward and up. Arms forward and up. Now start to add the arms back behind you, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Squeeze. Working the anterior delts, and then opening up your chest for some nice flexibility. Squeeze. Good. We have 5 more. Knees are tracking right over those second and third toes. 4. And up. Squeeze. 3. Excellent. 2. And 1. Now come forward into that squat. Pull your elbows up behind you. Straighten your arms as much as you can. Tiny pulses here. Up, 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 up. So you're holding your chair pose. Holding that nice alignment in your core. Working the backs of your shoulders and your triceps. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the arms, press yourself up, roll the shoulders a couple of times, up, back, and down. Okay, bring your hand weights with you. We're coming down onto the mat for a long mat Pilates series. Also have your yoga strap close by too. If you need a padding for your sitting bone, you can sit down onto a little bit of the cushion here. So we are going to come into a modification of teaser pose for the hundreds. So your feet are on the floor, knees are bent, back is in neutral. Hinge your body back a little bit, reach your fingertips forward. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Now, as you do this breath pattern, your arms are strong. They're not limp and flapping, but they're really straight. It's like you're slapping some water, making a little splash. Abs are zipped up. Head is neutral, so lift your chin a little bit. Try not to reach your chin forward. Abs in really tight. Breathe in through the nose, out through a straw. In, 2, 3, 4. 2 more breaths. And 1. And then roll yourself up. So the difference between straight back and round back, in straight back we keep the spine neutral and we just hinge the body back and then we come up. So our head doesn't move out of neutral, our pelvis stays neutral, our abs stay nice and engaged. Now the round back, we tuck the tailbone under, we curve, and then we roll back up and come to neutral at the top. Tuck, roll, roll back up, and center. Let's do 2 more in round back. C curve, and 1 more. Tuck, roll. And come up, relax your shoulders. Take one of your hand weights, bring it in your right hand. As you roll back, tuck, open your arm out, roll up. We'll do 5 in round back. And up, 3 more. Now, if the weight's too heavy, set it down and just do it without the weight, just opening your arm out to the side. 1 more time, roll back, C curve, extend the arm, twisting, come center, and up, relax the arms. Pass that weight into your left hand. Both arms forward, C curve, roll back, tuck, turn to the left, open that arm out, come back up, rolling, back to neutral. Now I like to exhale to roll back and then take a little inhale there and exhale to roll back up. And inhale at the top, exhale to roll back, inhale, roll up, 2 more. So you're really feeling your arm working here, the shoulder, a little bit of the pec, but mostly your core. Last time. And come up. Relax. Switch that hand weight to the other arm, or you cannot use it at all. Now notice where your knees are. I want you to bolt them together and just straighten the right leg. So try to do that without letting your leg drop down if you possibly can. So your inner thighs are really engaged. The leg comes up. It doesn't have to be completely straight. Now straight back, so no roll, lean, rotate towards the right side, come up and bend the knee. Straighten it up, straight back, open, come up and bend the knee. 3 more. Good. Whatever works for you for breathing. 2 more. Straighten the leg to activate the quad. Squeeze the inner thighs to get those adductors. 1 more time here. Straighten. Open back, straight back position. Oh, let's get 1 more. Let's get 1 more. Good form, good form. And come up. Bend the knee. Relax. Woo! Feeling that work on the right side of the body, both the core and the shoulder and the thigh. Let's pass that weight to the other side. Bolt your knees together. Keep a straight back position. Arms forward. Straighten the left leg. Straight back hinge and open. Come back up. Bend the knee. 4 more. Straighten. Open. Try not to let your belly bulge, but keep it pulled in, not holding your breath. Good job, everyone. We're almost there. Slow, controlled movement, really mindful. 1 more time, straighten, open, and come up and bend, set that weight down. All right, let's take the right arm across, just give your shoulder a little stretch here. And the other arm across. So we are going to work on full modified teaser. So sitting onto those sits bones, keep your back straight, walk your feet in closer towards you, pick up behind your knees, and lean your back a little bit and lift those legs up. Now, if this is really not okay for you, you feel pain in your lower back, absolutely keep your feet down. If you're okay with holding onto your thighs, maybe try letting go. You can even set your hands to the floor. Now keep that straight back position. We're going to tap 1 foot down, up, other side, down, up. So our goal is not to move anything through the midsection. Nice and stable. Good job, everybody. 8 more reps. Point, up, 7, up, 6, 5, 4, almost there, 3, 2, 1. Grab behind your thighs, pull yourself up, and set your feet down. We're just going to take a seated twist. So right hand behind you, left hand across, look over that shoulder. Just relaxing the low back, relaxing the neck. And then other side, twist. One more deep breath in. And exhale. Come back to center. Let your knees open out. Just a brief adductor stretch here through the inner thighs. Hinge forward. You might feel a nice gentle stretch in your lower back as well. Just relax there. So we're going to move into the mat Pilates side kick series, or some modifications of that, to really work this outer thigh abductor on each side. So the most important thing is to get into a comfortable position for you as you go. Also, you're going to have one of your hand weights still available. So we are on our side for the side kick series. A couple ways that you can be on your side is high up on your elbow here, making sure everything is neutral, or you can come on down, support your head, or you can make a pillow for the side of your head and just lay completely on your shoulder, whatever feels best for your body. So just decide that now and get nice and comfortable here. We start with our knees both bent about 90 degrees. Then your bottom knee stays bent as the top leg extends forward. And we want the outside of the leg to face the ceiling, not to rotate, so your toes are forward. And we're going to pulse up, 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 up. Teeny tiny movement, only moving maybe 3 or 4 inches with that thigh. The pelvis stays nice and still. We're strengthening through the medial glute into the muscle called the TFL, all the way down the abductors of the thigh. Now, with the flex in the ankle, up, up, up. So really pull your toes up towards your shin. Abs in tight. If you're up here on the shoulder and you need to come down lower, just make yourself feel comfortable. Good, almost there with this set. We're looking for endurance. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Close the knees back in. This is resting position. So anytime you need to take a break, come right back here to resting position. You can also drop this leg forward because this is going to give you a little bit of a stretch in that area. So you might rather have this be your resting position. Okay, coming back to that leg extended out, we are going to bring the leg forward, flex, flex, and point, pull back. Flex, flex, point, pull back. Flex, flex, point, pull back. Now when you do these 2 flexes, make sure you're not tucking your pelvis under. Good. Exhale, exhale, inhale on the point. Exhale, exhale, squeeze the glute to pull back. 4 more. 3. Great. 2. 1 more. Flex, flex, and point. Come back to resting position. If you need to rest the shoulder, you can also come down for a moment or just change your position here. We're on this side for a few more exercises. Next exercise is called the ronde. So bring that leg back out. Without moving your pelvis, the leg comes forward, up and around. Forward, up and around. Now you can either keep your leg in parallel or you can rotate that thigh a little bit so that your thigh rotates towards the ceiling. Good, and you can circle it back behind you a little bit so you activate the glute. 8, 7, not too fast, nice and controlled. 6, 5, 4. Awesome, I like the hand on the hip because you can tell whether your pelvis is moving. 1 more repetition. Come back to resting position. Take hold of your hand weight. We'll do an external rotation of the rotator cuff. So your elbow is staying close to your waistline. You can also do this exercise with a little towel tucked underneath your elbow to support there just a little bit. And we'll add clamshell. So the knees come apart and they close. Knees come apart, but your feet stay together. Rotate. Good, and you're moving your arm, whatever range of motion feels okay for your shoulder, your rotator cuff today. 4. This is transverse abduction of the hip. the way we're opening and closing the knee. It's a little bit of that rotation in the hip joint. Last one, and rest. Press that weight down, press yourself up. We are going to stretch this area by bringing the leg across and coming into a twist that direction, pulling the knee towards your body, opening up this glute and outer thigh. Look over the shoulder, nice rotation. Sit really tall and breathe. And then we'll come back to center. We'll repeat our series on the other side. Get yourself nice and comfortable, either high up on the elbow. Knees are 90-degree bend. We've got a flexion at the hip, a flexion at the knees. Extend that leg out. Nice parallel position and pulse up, up. We're starting this one with plantar flexion of the ankle. So we've got a toe point here. Pointing. Zip up the abs. Try not to slump down into the shoulder so you're really lifted up. Now dorsiflex the ankle, pulling your toes towards your shin. Small movement, maybe only 4 inches lifting and lowering this thigh. Outside of the legs facing the ceiling, not the front of the thigh. Good, keep breathing. 10, 9, 8. Ooh, my leg's shaking a little bit. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back to resting position. If you need to rest the shoulder, you can go to a different position here. Okay, next exercise. We come back to extending that leg out. Bring it forward, 2 flexes. Flex, flex, point, pull back behind you, squeeze the glute. Flex, flex, point, pull back. Flex, flex, point, pull back. So your outer thigh is working as a stabilizer in this exercise because your leg is staying up. If your outer thigh wasn't working, your leg would fall down. So we've got the outer thigh as a stabilizer. And we have the quad, the hip flexor, the glute, and the hamstring providing that primary mode of movement. Let's do 2 more. Flex, flex, point, pull back. 1 more. And come back to your resting position. Good. Changing that position if you need to. Comfort is most important. Ronde. Leg extends. We come forward, circle, and around. Forward, circle, and around. So the most important thing on this one is not to rock your pelvis back to circle. So you don't want to lean back to get that circle bigger. Keep the top of your pelvis really stable. Working the abductor. Medial glute. TFL, tensor fascia lata. Lengthening all the way down through that IT band. Let's do 5 more. And 4. 3. Ooh. 2. And 1. Back to resting position. Take your hand weight. Start to move into the rotator cuff. Rotate. And come back down. So I have about a 90-degree bend in my elbow, and I'm just working on the rotation of that humerus into the shoulder socket. Now we'll add our clamshell, just the knees come apart and back together. How far they come apart is usually an indication of your hip flexibility and to some degree your strength. For me, I'm not really flexible here in the hips, so it's normal just to be able to open your knee just a little bit. up. Good. We have 6 more repetitions. The arm's getting tired. Just set your hand weight down and keep going without any workload. 4 more. Good. Zip up the core. 3. Nicely done. 2 more. And 1 more time. And set that weight down. Press yourself up to our stretch. Top leg comes in front. Sit down into that sits bone. Pull the leg in towards you with your hand. Rotate. Look behind you with a nice long spine. And just breathe in and out. So for the remainder of our class, we're going to work on deep stretching, mostly for our abductors, but a little bit in our adductors as well, and our IT band, which can typically be a really tight area in our body. So if you have a foam roller, I'll show you how you can roll out your IT band. If you don't have a foam roller, I mentioned at the beginning of class, if you have a rolling pin at home, you can actually use a rolling pin and guide it down the outside of your legs on both sides. You can also do this with a tennis ball. So where I'm going to roll is you have a really thick fibrous tissue here, the IT band, and we're going to roll on either side of that and then also right down the center of it. So you can use your tennis ball here. If you don't have a tennis ball, you can actually use the heel of your hand. So you're going to press in and pull back, just nice, even pressure. So with our foam roller, this area can be really tender and hard to do, but I did want to demonstrate it today. So we can take our foam roller, and if you don't have that, I just want you to be rolling out each side of your IT bands, either with your rolling pin, your tennis ball, or the heels of your hand. So here we can come up onto the outside of the leg and extend it out long towards the floor. The top leg comes forward and we take a little small area and we just start to roll forward and back. Now you can be up on your wrist, you can come down onto your elbow, and this leg here, I'm using it to take some of the pressure out of this outer thigh by pushing down into my foot. So you take a small section, you're going to go over it nice and easy just a few times, and then you'll lift up off of that foam roller a little bit, slide it down further, and go back and forth a small area a few times. You are going to feel definitely some tender areas here. And then we'll go down a little bit more. Usually once you get closer to your knee, it can be really tender. So if you can't tolerate this on the foam roller, then just sit up and use the heel of your hand or your tennis ball or your rolling pin. So we've been on this side for just a couple of minutes. So if you're ready to switch, let's try it on the foam roller on the other side or your other tools. So why are we rolling? We're loosening up the connective tissue, and the IT band is a really, really dense connective tissue. So it's really difficult to roll it out. We might want to spend a little bit more time on the IT band than we do on some other areas in our body. If you are feeling pain on the foam roller, just using the heel of your hand is a great way. You can determine how much pressure you're using. You can just gently cover a nice full area of your IT band. Otherwise, we're going to go down a little bit more to find another spot. Use this leg and push it into the floor to take some of the weight out of that thigh that you're rolling. You can also come down to your elbow. If this is the first time you've rolled this area, it's likely really can be very painful. So just do little short periods of time. And if you stay consistent with it, it's not as tender down the road. Okay, let's do one more area here, a little bit closer to the knee, but we never roll right onto a joint, just into that muscle. Good. We've got about 15 seconds to roll this side. And then we are going to deeply stretch using a couple of IT band stretches today. All right, let's come off that foam roller, set it off to the side. We're going to do a rotating pyramid today to really stretch the IT bands. So you can either use your yoga block or your chair. So come all the way up to a stand. I'm going to show you both versions. You've got your chair, you've got your yoga block. So let's stretch out the right IT band first. So we are going to step that right foot up forward, your left foot back, and then put a bend in your front knee and reach down either to your chair or to your block. And if you're using your block, it's going to be underneath your left hand. So it's on the opposite hand from this leg that's in front. And we're going to step that leg back even further and lift up off of your heels. So we're basically in a lunge. And then twist open. The last step that we add is to straighten out that front leg. And therein is where we find this big stretch down the outside of that thigh into the IT band and the abductor. Now, if you can't get your legs straight, you might not be experiencing the stretch as much. It might be more of a hamstring stretch for you. So I'll have another option in a moment that might work better for you. But let's just stay here about 3 more breaths. Top hand can also lower down behind your back. Looking up to the ceiling, a nice twist. 1 more breath. And exhale, come out of that twist. Rebend this front knee, step the back foot in, and stand up for a moment. Just notice how that's feeling on the outside of your hip and down your leg. So now our left leg will stay in front. We'll step back a little bit just to start and get in position. This knee is bent. We can put our hands on our chair or to the block underneath the right hand. So those are both great options. And we'll step this foot back even further and twist open to the left this time. Then the last piece is to start to straighten your left leg. And the goal is to be able to get it all the way straight. So if you're trying to do this on a block and you're not able to straighten, go ahead and use your chair, because this is going to bring your body up a little bit, and maybe you'll be able to get this leg on the left side to straighten. Now feel your IT band stretching. Top arm can come behind the back. Just breathe here. Try to look up towards the ceiling. Get a nice twist. 3 more breaths. Now, even though that front leg is straight, it's not locked. So make sure there's a little tiny micro bend in that knee. And 1 more breath in. Then exhale, come out of your twist, rebend that front knee, step the back foot in, and rise up to a stand. Okay, stretching deeper into the IT band, we're going to use our yoga strap. So come down onto your mat. Take your yoga strap and we're going to place it under the bottom of your right foot to stretch that iliotibial band. So I like to use the arch of the foot, to use the ball of the foot rather than the arch, because if you use the ball of the foot, you're able to flex your ankle a little bit more. So let's find a place where we can lift this leg and get it all the way straight. So for you, that might be down here. That's okay. Just start low with it, get your leg completely straight, and then you can start to bring it up slowly and see where you are here. So once we have the leg as straight as we can and lift it as much as we can, we are going to bring that leg across the midline of the body just a little bit. It's not a twist, so I'm not going to lift this hip up off the floor and rotate over, keeping my pelvis planted, and just bring that leg across a little bit. So I'm feeling this IT band stretching. Now another area along this outside of the leg that's hard to stretch is right here in your shin. So I want you to turn your toes in like you're pigeon-toed, is that correct? Pigeon-toed position, rotate it in so you feel this little bit of a stretch here. And then you're bringing that leg across as much as you possibly can without lifting this hip up off the mat. Let's hold here for about another 45 seconds. Just breathe. So over the years of teaching fitness classes, I've had a number of overuse injuries where I did too much, taught too many classes, and one of them was IT band syndrome. So when this IT band gets really tight, it can do two things. It attaches up across the hip and it attaches across the knee. So you can either have hip pain or you can have lateral knee pain. And for me, it was the lateral knee pain. So I had to do a lot of stretching and a lot of foam rolling to get rid of that IT band syndrome. Okay, so let's stay on this side and go to your adductor, your inner thigh. So you're going to bring that strap into your other hand and open your leg out to the side until you get a great stretch for your inner thigh. So with this one, I like to use my yoga strap like it's a sling. So I'm going to get my elbow to come all the way down to the floor, use my bicep right here to support myself, and then just let my leg hang there and relax that inner thigh. So I can use my arm to adjust this position rather than using the muscles of my leg to try to hold it up or to try to stretch it. So let's stay here about another 40 seconds. I have my left arm open to the side, kind of counterbalancing this position. You have a little bit of a flex in your ankle if that feels good for you. You can move your foot around and try to find a place where you feel the best stretch here. One more breath. And then as you exhale, use your arm to help guide your leg back up rather than tightening the thigh muscle. Hold here just another breath or two. Really get that hamstring to lengthen. And then we'll switch legs. So unlasso the right leg, send it down. Place that strap under the ball of the left foot. And maybe start with it low, send it out, get it straight, and then you can slowly pull it in until you feel that stretch start. Comfortable position. Once you've got it up as high as you feel comfortable and as straight as you can, opposite hand's going to pull that leg across the midline just a little bit. Ooh, this side is definitely tighter. And then we can turn our foot in And feel that stretch outside of the shin into our peroneus longus muscle. Now, sometimes this stretch kind of has the physical sensation of a burning because it's not all muscle that we're stretching here. The IT band is not a muscle. It's a big tendon. It's a big connective tendon. And so it's really hard to stretch through that area. We don't want to force it. We just want to get into that stretch and stay there and breathe. We have 20 seconds left here. Good, let's take one more deep breath in. And exhale out. Okay, our opposing stretch, the inner thigh. Switch your hands, open this arm out to the side to counterbalance your body, and open that leg out. Try to get your left elbow to come down onto the floor and use your left bicep to hold this leg up. Get it into a nice position, and then as best as you can, relax the muscles of the inner thigh. Just let them surrender into your yoga strap. And then just come into a nice breath. Inhale, exhale slowly. Now it's okay if this hip is going to lift up a little bit, but as best as you can, I want you to keep your pelvis down. Keep this locked into place. See if you can deepen and soften a little bit more for the last final seconds of this stretch. And one more breath. Use your arm to help close that leg up. Hold this stretch right here for another couple of breaths. Lengthen. Feel it all along the posterior chain. And then release. And we'll take our time to come to a stand for one final adductor stretch. You can roll yourself over or roll like a ball, come up onto your feet. So taking our feet out into first position, cross the right ankle behind the left, keep your toes pointed out. So this is going to bring you into fifth, correct? So we have the right leg behind, the big toe of the left foot, or big toe of the right foot connected to the heel of the left. Bring your right arm up and then push your hip out. And I'm going to let this knee soften a little bit. So my back leg is straighter than my front leg. I'm going to push all that intensity into the upper area of the IT band and the TFL and strengthen through or stretch through the waist. Your gaze can look up at the ceiling under the arm. One more breath. And exhale to come up. Relax that arm. Step the back foot back to first position. And then the left foot's going to keep a turn out and cross behind. So I've got my big toe of my left foot connected to the heel of the right. They're both turned out. I have my feet flat. Stretch the left arm up and over and push your hip away that direction. I'm softening this front knee, bending it a little bit, keeping the back leg really straight. And then the gaze can rotate up. And we just breathe and lengthen. And one more breath in. And exhale, come up. The back foot steps back to first position. And we finish with a breath in together. Sweep the arms out, maybe a tiny baby back bend. Stretch up. Press the palms of the hands together and the thumbs to the heart. And it has been my pleasure to lead you through your practice in your class today. I hope you have an amazing rest of the day. I'll see you next time. I'll turn our recording off. If anyone can stay for a minute or two and chat, I'd love to see how your workout did for you today. Thank you, everyone.